yo, B Dot, I see what you doing out here. Nasty work.
Hey, yo, Ease.
Yo, I love this hip hop thing, right? And everything isn't for clicks and giggles. I'll always be an advocate for it because I love it. Once again, I love it. And some of you pundits out here within the culture keeps forgetting that no empire or entity is above a fall from grace. Remember the source? Hip-hop quotables, unsigned hype, the coveted 5 mics. B-Dot, when they started acting like you acting right now, they got put up out of here. Gone. So you got to ask yourself, hot takes or integrity? And I get it. It's your list. You base it on what? Skills, being relevant, and performance. So how is NAS not on the list? Because we got to keep this in mind. Being relevant does not happen in a vacuum. If I'm hot today, it's typically something I did a year ago. But we can speak about 2023. He sold out the Garden, son. How many people did that? Sold out the Garden. That's not relevant. And his skills, please, we don't got to speak about that. CONWAY is not on the list? How? He dropped the project. He was even featured on your podcast. What are we talking about here?
So B-Dot, I said F his list.
But you got Benny on the list who's been relatively inactive. Tyler is relatively inactive. These are talented brothers, but I can tell that you're not really listening to music because your selections don't even meet your own criteria. Larry June, The Great Escape, project with The Alchemist. I even did a review on it. Phenomenal project. But if he's on the list, Sky Zoo should be on the list. The Mind of a Saint. Many people was talking about that. Not to mention, he had the anthem associated with the New York Knicks playoff run.
For the colors that we bleed in the field, the pressure is insanity because we don't do L's, nah.
That's relevancy. What are we talking about, man? What about Ransom? How is Ransom not on your list? Director's Cut 4, but I can tell you don't listen to music because he just made it available to streaming platforms. But someone in your position, if you really into this hip hop thing, even if it's exclusive and you got to go to his website and cop it, you should do so. Because when you putting out lists like this, and you're supposed to be the biggest platform within hip hop, it is your job, your duty, your responsibility to have listened prior to putting out lists like this. I'm just keeping it a buck. Somebody got to hold these cats' feet to the fire. Everybody makes mistakes. We all like what we like. But when you give a criteria and your selections aren't meeting it, you're setting us all up for failure. Because the end game isn't about the skills, being relevant, or performance. You just want us talking about you. You want us talking about you. So you just add 10 rappers to a list that's going to cause some controversy, and we're no longer talking about hip-hop. We're talking about what B. Dot did or what he didn't do. Now, I want to talk about Ransom and that Fire project. I want to talk about the historic run Nas is on. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what Sky Zoo doing out here and what he been doing. I want to talk about CONWAY project. A lot of you hip-hop pundits are coming across as disgruntled sports writers who won't vote an athlete into the Hall of Fame or get them MVP consideration because you and your feelings. Now the integrity is out the entire process because you're doing everything so people can talk about you as opposed to the very thing that we love, which happens to be hip-hop. We just got to do better, man. Cats got to do better. I see what you're doing. Go get your yeah.
B-Dot, I don't understand what his goal is. He's going to alienate himself to where he ain't even going to have nobody to bring on that show brackets. Who going to come on the show if you pissing everybody off? Intentionally, too.
Hey, yo, Ease.
I think most of us are on a quest to preserve the culture, right? But I believe that a lot of them, this is part of the game. Like I posted maybe a week ago, you do the obvious, you piss people off, and then they start flipping, and clicks and engagement lead to, I don't know, just the algorithm or the system, whatever it is, because that's what they're after. Because some of the lists are just ridiculous, man. I can't understand I'm not even the biggest Benny fan. You know what I'm saying? I think he's nice, but as far as the subject matter, he should be on at least everyone's top 10 this year. I'm not talking about an overall career. He put in the work, right? I don't understand. I really don't understand. And what's the criteria for best rapper as well? We're talking about everything, the work you put in, going on a tour, doing albums, verses, features. It's almost like an insult to all of us. In the game, people are in a frenzy, man. I'm reading some of these Twitter comments and they're baffled. Pusha T. It's a solid effort, but how is that album of the year? Albums are supposed to have ebbs and flows, right? Different emotions pull you in. But when 90% of the content is the same, how? It's like someone talking to you and they keep repeating the same sentence. There's only so many ways you could say one thing. Eventually, yo, bro, I got the point. I got it. I got the point, son. I don't think a lot of these cats are pushing themselves, and the journalists have dropped the bar so low to where they're like, yo, I'm not even, because believe it or not, a lot of these cats want that recognition. They do. They yearn for it. They need it. That's validation. So many artists who deserve recognition, man, and they're not getting it. I think Shay Noir had a very good year. Conway, he should have got some love on these lists as well. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out the criteria. Is the goal to piss us off? Like just say random names? Because like I did a video last week speaking about how we don't accept Kendrick. From an artistic standpoint, yeah, like people didn't like the album. I get that. Like I said, everybody got a little bit of piece of mid in their discography. I understand that. But at the same time, I can sit here and tell you he did not have album of the year. He didn't. How often did you go back and listen to that? He got some joints on there. He got some verses where he did his thing. I understand what he was trying to do, but it's not the album of the year. It can't be. It just can't be. But popularity is for real, man. And every artist isn't after that. I can tell by like Ransom. I know he was a little pissed up. 38 Special went off, and he named his top 5 journalists. So you already know they putting up lists, but they never. And then they'll give a disclaimer at the bottom about what it was about. But there are so many different other artists who meet that criteria. So I don't know, man. I hate the people say payola. I thought we was beyond those times. Some people say he sold his soul for some omelets and mimosas because he want to go to the Rock Nation brunch. I don't know. What I do understand is that some of these decisions, somebody got to check these guys because it's blatant and it's ugly, man.
Hey, yo,